in a stunning and unexpected twist that's left Rangers fans and club insiders alike scratching their heads. The Ibrox side has executed a dramatic U-turn on a transfer move that until just days ago seemed all but certain. What looked like a dime deal has now been shelved, a change in direction that signals deeper shifts happening within the walls of Ibrox. With the summer transfer window officially open and preparations already underway for a pivotal campaign ahead, this sudden reversal isn't just a one-off. It could be the first major indication of a new approach under the club's fresh leadership. Whether it's a change in recruitment, philosophy, internal power dynamics, or simply a reaction to new circumstances, something significant has clearly shifted behind the scenes. Just as fans were bracing for announcements and finalizations fresh, reports began to circulate suggesting Rangers had decided to walk away from the pursuit of a highly rated young talent, a move that caught many off guard. For days, all signs pointed to the club moving swiftly on the signing of PSG Academy star Umar Kamar, an 18-year-old winger who had reportedly agreed in principle to join the Scottish Giants. The player, who's featured regularly for France at youth level and impressed in international clashes against the likes of England and Portugal, was said to be enthusiastic about the switch to Glasgow. But now that deal is off the table. According to sources close to the situation, the reasoning appears tied to deeper structural changes at Ibrox, particularly the recent takeover involving Andrew Kavanagh and 49ers Enterprises. Initial interest in Kamar reportedly began before the new ownership took full control, and now that the reins have officially changed hands, the club's transfer strategy seems to have been realigned. That shift has pushed the Kama deal off the radar, entirely marking one of the first visible outcomes of the new regime's influence. It's a disappointing turn for the young winger, who's expected to become a free agent at the end of June, when his PSG contract expires. Although the French champions have prepared a professional deal to keep him in Paris, reports suggest Kamar was set on beginning a new chapter elsewhere, and Glasgow was his preferred destination. With that door now seemingly closed, questions remain about where the talented winger might land next, but the broader implications are already rippling through Rangers' transfer plans. The move away from Kamar isn't just about one player. It reflects a shift in priorities and possibly even a different profile of player being targeted under the new leadership team. Sporting director Kevin Thelwell officially began his role last week, and with manager Russell Martin only just unveiled, the pieces of a new footballing structure are still falling into place. Together with technical director Dan Perotti, Martin and Thelwell are expected to work collaboratively on recruitment, but this early decision shows that clarity is still emerging about what this new era will look like on and off the pitch. Meanwhile, Rangers are reportedly pushing ahead with other targets. Leicester City's experienced defender Connor Cody is said to be high on the wish list, with just 1 year left on his current deal at the King Power Stadium. At 32 years, Cody would bring leadership and grit to a backline that struggled with consistency last season. His signing would be a signal of intent, a move aimed at steadying the defense with proven quality. Up front, attention has turned to Dor Turgeman, the promising Maccabi Tel Aviv forward, as well as a potential reunion with Flynn Downs, a player Martin previously brought to Southampton from West Ham. The midfield dynamo is believed to be admired by the new Rangers boss, who sees him as a key part of the engine room he wants to rebuild. One of the most intriguing new names on the radar is Matija Frigan, a Croatian striker who turned heads this past season in the Belgian Pro League with Westerlo. At just 22, Frigan registered 15 goal contributions and has quickly become one of the most talked about young forwards in Belgium. Currently part of Croatia's under-21 review, Croatia 21 setup as they prepare for the European Championships, his performances on the international stage have only added to the buzz. Rangers are reportedly among the frontrunners for his signature, but they're not alone. Clubs in Germany and Spain have also shown interest, and with his contract running until 2028, Westerlo will be expecting a decent fee. Frigan's style, mobile, intelligent, and clinical in front of goal, fits the profile of what Martin appears to be building, with questions still surrounding the future of Cyril Desires, who despite scoring a fair number of goals, has often Divided opinion among supporters, the need for reliable firepower is urgent. Martin is under no illusions. If Rangers want to mount a serious title challenge and make a real impact in Europe, they can't afford to go into the new season without real competition and depth in the final third. And let's not forget another player that stirred up transfer buzz. Kwame Poku of Peterborough United. The Ghana international has been in red-hot form, delivering 20 goal contributions across just 27 League One matches last season. At 23, he's got the pace, technical skill, and eye for goal that make him an appealing target. A left-footed right-winger, Poku was instrumental in Peterborough's successful EFL trophy defense at Wembley, where they beat Birmingham. Unsurprisingly, that kind of form has drawn attention from multiple clubs, including Rangers, Birmingham City, and teams from France and Germany. Although his contract is running down and he's not expected to sign a new deal with Peterborough, a tribunal fee will be required given his age and development background. Chairman Dara McAnthony recently spoke openly about Poku's future, suggesting that while a Premier League move might be premature, a high-end championship club or even a top-flight side abroad isn't out of the question. He went so far as to say Poku could eventually become a £30 million player. That kind of projection underlines the caliber of the winger Rangers are reportedly looking at. Young explosive with genuine resale potential. But for all the names swirling around, the early takeaway is clear. This is a Rangers side in transition, not just in terms of personnel, but in terms of identity. Russell Martin has come in with a clear mandate to reshape the squad and elevate the standards. And with Thelwell and Paruddy alongside him, the footballing department is getting a full reset. What that means for the club's style of play, the type of players they target, and how they approach contract situations is all starting to unfold. But the U-turn on Oumar Kamara is a symbol, maybe even a warning, that the days of predictable, linear transfer windows at Ibrox are over. As Russell Martin settles into life at Ibrox, it's becoming increasingly clear that he's not here to merely fine-tune what was already in place. He's here to overhaul, rebuild, and impose his identity on a squad that fell short last season. The disappointment of the previous campaign, both domestically and in Europe, left supporters craving direction, energy, and a sense of purpose. Martin's early moves and targets suggest he's got a vision for a more dynamic, aggressive Rangers side, one that dominates possession, presses high, and plays with intent. But to build that kind of team, he needs players who fit his system and mentality, and that's exactly where the current recruitment efforts are pointing. There's a noticeable shift in the type of players being targeted. Young, hungry, and technically capable seems to be the mantra, and that's reflected in the interest shown in names like Frigon and Poku. These aren't just statistical standouts. They're players who operate with intelligence, who show flexibility in their roles, and who have room to grow under the right coaching. For years, Rangers have flirted with balancing experience and youth, but too often the signings have leaned towards short-term fixes. Martin, together with Kevin Thelwell, appears determined to reverse that trend. They're looking beyond the usual markets and casting a wide net across Europe for players who not only bring talent but also resale value and longevity. The challenge, of course, lies in marrying this new recruitment model with the immediate pressures of the Scottish Premiership and European qualifiers. Rangers cannot afford to start the season slowly. The Champions League qualifiers in mid-July present an early and significant hurdle, one that will require the squad to be match-ready and tactically prepared. That's why Martin has been clear. At least one or two new arrivals must be in place before that first crucial fixture. It's not just about numbers, it's about an integration. Players need time to adapt, not just to the demands of Scottish football, but to each other, to the system, and to the expectations of playing for a club like Rangers. Behind the scenes, the dynamics are shifting too. The presence of a new sporting director, a technical director, and manager within the span of a few weeks suggests a concerted effort from the board to install a more cohesive and professional footballing structure. There's been criticism in recent years that Rangers lacked a clear identity off the pitch, too reactive, too disjointed when it came to planning for the future. This new setup, at least on paper, is built to address that. Thelwell brings a reputation for long-term planning. Dan Paruddy is expected to drive data-informed decisions, and Martin has already shown he's not afraid to back his footballing principles. even when that means turning down players previously viewed as sure bets. That's what makes the Kamar U-turn so revealing. In previous seasons, Rangers might have pressed on with the deal regardless, particularly given the players' excitement about joining and the limited cost involved. But under this new leadership, it matters more than momentum. It's not about collecting talent. It's about building a squad with coherence, with defined roles, and with a clear ceiling for improvement. That kind of discipline in recruitment can frustrate supporters in the short term, especially when names begin to fall off the radar, but over the course of a season or two, it lays the foundation for sustainability. Financially, Rangers are not in a position to compete pound for pound with clubs in England's top 2 tiers or even with some of Europe's mid-sized outfits. That reality demands creativity in the market, finding players like Poku or Freegan before they explode in value, investing smartly and selling at the right time. The days of chasing expensive veterans on high wages have to be behind them. That's also why the link with Connor Cody, while eyebrow-raising in terms of age, makes more sense when viewed through the lens of leadership and short-term reinforcement. His experience could be invaluable, especially in helping to transition younger defenders into the side while bringing a vocal organizing presence to the backline. The rebuild isn't just happening in the forward and defensive lines either. Midfield is an area where Rangers desperately need refreshment. Last season's lack of creativity and dynamism in central areas was exposed time and time again, particularly in matches where control was needed. Flynn Downs represents the kind of box-to-box midfielder who can offer balance, someone comfortable both protecting the back four and pushing forward when needed. Martin's familiarity with Downs adds weight to the rumor, and it's the kind of low-risk, high-upside move that could really pay off if it materializes. It's also worth keeping a close eye on how Rangers manage their existing assets during this window. Players like Cyril Desires and Sam Lammers arrived with big expectations but failed to deliver with the kind of consistency required at this level. While both showed flashes of inconsistency and lack of chemistry, in the final third were recurring issues. Martin may decide to give some a clean slate, but don't be surprised if exits begin to follow as part of this wider squad trim. Every player brought in now needs to raise the ceiling, not just fill a gap. And make no mistake, this summer's window is going to shape the next few years at Ibrox, with Celtic showing no signs of slowing down and European qualification more competitive than ever. Rangers cannot afford to tread water. The fan base expects progress not just in terms of silverware, but in playing style, recruitment, and results on the continent. This is a pivotal moment, one where ambition has to be matched by clarity. That means backing Martin's vision fully and giving him the tools and time to build something lasting, even if the early decisions like walking away from Kamar raise eyebrows. The early signs at least are promising. There's a sense that Rangers are moving with purpose, not panic. Targets are being identified with more thought, and there's an openness to looking at unfamiliar markets. The message from inside the club seems to be clear. This is a new chapter, and while not every name linked will end up wearing the blue shirt, every move will be made with a clear eye on the bigger picture. The project is just beginning, but the intent is unmistakable. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. There's been a fresh stir in the Scottish football scene following a candid and somewhat startling remark from Russell Martin about the Rangers squad. The former player and now manager didn't mince words when he described the current Rangers team as quite weak, sparking whispers across football circles north of the border. Martin, who's respected for his honest and straightforward approach, seemingly dropped this bombshell in a recent interview. While he didn't single out any individuals, his blunt assessment has raised eyebrows and sent fans and pundits alike into a frenzy, speculating about what this could mean for the club's ambitions this season. Could this be a hint at deeper issues within the squad, or perhaps a challenge aimed at the club's hierarchy to reconsider their recruitment and strategy? Rangers, traditionally one of Scotland's football powerhouses, have faced a roller coaster of results lately, and Martin's comments only add fuel to the fire. Supporters, notoriously passionate and protective of their team, have been divided. Some agree with Martin's viewpoint, believing that the squad lacks the depth and quality to truly compete with Celtic and other rising challengers. Others argue that the team is undergoing a rebuilding phase and that patience is needed. What's particularly interesting about Martin's statement is that it doesn't come from a rival manager or a pundit looking to stir controversy, but from someone with a solid footballing pedigree and an eye for talent and tactics. It suggests that the challenges Rangers face might be more significant than the casual fan might realize. The timing of these comments is also worth noting. With the transfer window either just closed or about to open again, there's speculation that Martin's words could be a strategic move to put pressure on Rangers management to strengthen the squad. After all, the club will want to avoid another season where their dominance is seriously questioned. Meanwhile, rival clubs and their supporters are undoubtedly taking notice. Any perceived weakness in the Rangers lineup could be a golden opportunity for them to capitalize and close the gap in the fiercely competitive Scottish Premiership. The suggestion that Rangers are quite weak might embolden other teams to step up their game. In the midst of all this, Rangers fans are left wondering how their club will respond. Will the management take this criticism on board and act swiftly in the transfer market? Or will they dismiss Martin's comments as just talk, focusing instead on internal development and team cohesion? One thing's for sure, the football chatter in Scotland is alive and kicking, with Russell Martin's blunt assessment adding a spicy twist to the narrative around one of the country's most storied clubs. Whether this is just a passing storm or the start of a significant shake-up at Ibrox remains to be seen. But it's a story that's sure to dominate headlines and pub conversations for weeks to come. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.